So showing off or imposing hard words after you spend in charity is spending for the wrong reasons. And it can only happen when one thinks that Allah isn't watching. And your attitude that you can impose as if it's your right. But it wasn't your rizq, it was given by Allah. So this attitude, and most of our deen is an attitude which needs to fit in with iman. So avoid that sense of entitlement as if you gave to someone. No, Allah gave it to you. And the fact you could give sadaqah to build your akhirah was not because of you. Allah allowed you, and you just transferred accounts from this dunya's account to the akhirah's account. So you didn't really spend anything. So why are you feeling so entitled to impose on someone or to show off your charity? So with the concept of rain, the good heart is able to take in the benefit of the rain of the wahi and is sensitive to Allah's guidance and lets it be absorbed and lets iman sprout forth into a tree that brings benefit. But as for the hard hearts, full of darkness, that doesn't absorb this rain, and so plants of iman don't grow there. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in Surah Zumar, so I ask about a person whose heart Allah has opened up for Islam, and consequently he proceeds in a light from his Lord. Can he be equal to the one whose heart is hardened? So woe to those whose hearts are too hard to remember Allah. Those are wandering in open error. So Allah reminds us that everything is made from water. And we see around us beautiful creation and plants and animals and oceans and springs gushing forth. And this water in the land brings forth different color crops so appealing to the eye and different human beings so appealing to the eye. The world is beautiful with these creations. But Allah reminds us that He sent down the water, revived the land, beautified it, and yet it is not there forever. Nothing is permanent. As the water of life leaves us and the plants wilt with old age and then turn yellow and then dry and brittle and then they become dust with the earth once again, depleted of the water of life, just as mankind is strong and grows and is supple, then his body strengthens and is beautiful, and then he ages and starts to bend and become brittle as the water around the joints dry up and around the valves as blood starts to thicken, flow becomes sluggish, man starts to wilt as he ages, and soon the body crumbles and returns back to the soil. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in Surah Zumar, have you not seen that Allah sent down water from the sky that made it penetrate into the earth and gush forth in the form of springs? Then He brings forth with it crops of different colors, and afterwards they wither, and you see them turned yellow. Then He makes them chaff. Surely in that there is a lesson for the people of understanding. And Allah says in Surah Zukhruf, and the one who has sent down water from the sky in due measure, then we have revived with it a dead town. In the same way, you will be brought forth alive from the graves. And so whilst we are still here, reflect on this amazing creation of water, how it is brought to us and preserved for us to drink and enjoy and rejuvenate ourselves. Allah reminds us in Surah Al-Waqiyah again, tell me about the water you drink. Is it you who have brought it down from the clouds, or are we the ones who send it down? If we so will, we can make it bitter in taste. So why do you not offer gratitude? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala provides us sweet flowing springs and streams at a height, and the rivers, and they flow into the oceans carrying salt of the ground as it flows into salty oceans. The whole geographics of the world is such that there is sweet water to which we have access as it is at land level, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala control the seas and oceans to stay in their limits. Otherwise something that flows can overflow. So He stops it with His qudrat, as it is water's nature to overflow over the land. But the Creator confined it and compelled it to stay in its limits. Only then is it beneficial. And if they overflowed, it would destroy the land, or the salt would get mixed in the pure sweet waters in the streams above and would not be drinkable. And how He cools the water for us by keeping its source at a higher altitude where it is cooler. And how with His laws of physics and gravity, the salty water cannot travel upwards and contaminate the drinking water. And how Allah highlights with the coming of a tsunami how uncontrolled the water can be, yet at all times He has it lassoed, and from time to time He shows His signs and His might and His planning and His complete ownership. The whole natural rhythm of flow of water through the highlands to the lower lands is not just to please the aesthetic eye and its desire for beauty and sound of trickling water, but to please the palate to receive portable drinking water and refreshing drink too. And then to think how the oceans evaporate and leave their salt behind as the water returns to the skies for desalination. And as it sifts through the clouds, once again, pure water is released in the form of sweet droplets for the benefit of mankind and the earth of vegetation below. But because we see this happen around us every day, the ulfat and takrar and repetition leave us numb as we stop reflecting and pondering at this magnificent planning and divine order. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in Surah Yusuf how many a sign there is in the heavens and the earth which they pass by and they are heedless to them. And yet all are under his control and power and they all submit to him. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala highlights the power of water at times when we see it overflow, flood, gush, tsunamis, yet nothing happens without the control of its creator. As he displays how the two seas, salty and sweet, defy the laws of osmosis and diffusion when he wills, and hence they don't intermingle. Allah says in Surah Ar-Rahman, He let forth the two seas to meet together. While there is a barrier between them, they do not encroach upon another. So which of the bounties of your Lord will you deny? مرج البحرين يلتقيان بينهما برزخ لا يبغيان فبأي آلاء ربكما تكذبان. Both exist, yet neither encroaches the other's space. And like two totally different personalities, the sweet and the salty coexist symbiotically, both of benefit in their own ways, as one provides pure sweet water and sweet meats of the seas, and the other provides high levels of salt to preserve the other meats of the sea, and provides salt to cure the wounds at sea. And for some gems and species, a high salt content is required, and for some, a low salt content is required, and hence their Rabb provides for all of them, as He owns all the alams, all the worlds, even that of the water world. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in Surah Furqan, He is the one who joined the two seas, so as this is sweet, very sweet, and this is bitter, very bitter, and made between them a buffer and an insurmountable barrier. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in Surah Fatir, and two seas are not alike. This one is sweet, saturating, pleasant to drink, and that one is salt, bitter. But from each you eat fresh meat and derive ornaments that you wear, and you see the boats therein cleaving through the water, so that you may search for His grace, and that you may be grateful. But yet Allah ensures that there will always be unknowns to man, so that he may continue to discover the treasures of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in this dunya and ponder and reflect as to what is in store in the magnificent world yet to come, and absorb new and refreshing signs around him. And hence there is yet to discover the beauty of the underworld, the seabed and its mammoth treasures. And so Allah invites the explorer to explore and reflect as to how these beautiful species and corals and gems hidden in the depths of the water, housed by its waves and currents, have been created by their creator, and yet so far deep down in its depths they are all well provided for, living in this huge undersea world. Allah says in Surah Al-Hijr, we have treasures of everything, but we have sent it down only in determined quantity. So you can never be bored or unconvinced, as treasures will continue to be discovered till the end of time. New findings, new discoveries, but for who? The one with new vision, fresh iman, and the desire to explore. And Allah created so many different species in the seas with their own unique colors and their own destinies. Some animals in the ocean are huge like mountains, and some are delicate and frail, and yet the sea is like a massive pasture that they all feed on. And some species live on the surface, and some in the lower bed in the darknesses, and their Azim Rabb gives all of them their provisions, and this Malik maintains all of them. And He created the fish without legs, as if they were only to swim, and fins for them to swim and float, and their oxygen is extracted from the fresh molecules of water, H2O, and a strong sense of smell, as the eyes see less as they are covered with water. So the water is like air for the fish. The water goes through their mouths and gills for breathing. In fact, both sea and the real air are both oceans. One is light, and it is the ocean of air. One is dense, and it is the ocean of water. And neither creature can survive in the other ocean of air. And every world is created to cater to the species in that world. Hence, there is so much for the ones of intellect to reflect on.